All right. Welcome everybody to our faculty study abroad panel. My name is Megan Francis. I am the Assistant Dean of International Programs for the School of Environmental and Biological Sciences. And I'm going to just call out to people to go ahead and introduce themselves real quick. So Hyunjin, do you want to start?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Hyunjin Yeo. I'm the program coordinator for the Office of International Programs.
Rocio.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rocío Ruiz. I'm the program manager for faculty-led programs, short-term, such as summer, winter, or embedded courses, and the virtual programs. And I work in the Office of Study Abroad.
Lloyd.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lloyd Pearson. I work with Rocio at Rutgers Global Study Abroad as a program coordinator and advisor for those short-term faculty-led programs.
Dr. Bouyon.
I have to unmute myself. So hi, sorry. So because I muted. Sorry. So hi, good evening, everybody. I cannot see any pictures except our faculty and staff. Good evening, welcome. And my name is Sanjeev Bouyon. I'm in the EBE program. And I teach undergraduate marketing classes, and also I'm in charge of a summer study abroad program. We'll talk about it a little bit later. Thank you.
Dr. Robson.
Hi, I'm Mark Robson. I'm a faculty member in the Department of Plant Biology. I do public health and toxicology, and I have a very exciting service learning program in Thailand in the summer in May every year.
Dr. Matthews.
Evening, everybody. I'm Carl Matthews. I'm in the Department of Food Science. My area is on food microbiology, but we have an exciting course in food and sustainability, and it's offered in the winter session, and it's over in Thailand.
Dr. Hegblum.
Hello, I'm Max Hegblum in the Department of Biochemistry and Microbiology. On campus, I teach a variety of courses, including applied microbiology. But for summer, my goal is to take a bunch of you to France to enjoy the microbiology and culture of cheese and wine.
And Dr. Littner.
Hi, I'm Ben Littner. I'm faculty in environmental sciences. I teach in the undergraduate meteorology program, and I lead an embedded study abroad course in Costa Rica.
Great, thank you. So to get us moving along, again, I represent the Office of International Programs along with Hyunjin Yeo. I have put up our Facebook and our Instagram information. You can also find our website and our general email inbox here. Don't worry, I will be showing this at other points as well, but if you do want to follow us on social media, we would love that. We do share a lot of information via social media. We also do random raffle prizes and things like that. So if you want some Rutgers swag, come follow us on social media. Quickly, what we do as far as study abroad goes, we provide specialized advising for SEBS students, and that's both for short-term programs and semester programming. We also help students with seeking out different independent research opportunities if they want to do independent research abroad. And I would say what makes us probably very popular on campus is the fact that we have specialized scholarships that are only for SEBS students. So our scholarship typically pays up to 50% of any study abroad program fee. So that does not include the flight, but it includes the tuition type of expense that you're going to be paying here at Rutgers. We can do that also for independent studies and for programs that are not offered through Rutgers. We just ask that you meet with us in advance of that so that we can go through the correct approval processes and make sure that everything is safe. Now I'm just going to quickly pass this off over to our study abroad team so that they can talk a little bit more about what they do.
Thank you, Megan. So the Office of Study Abroad belongs to a bigger office, which is Rutgers Global. Some of you might also be familiar with it because of the Office for International Students and Scholars. In Study Abroad, we focus on global learning. So it's not just studying abroad, getting on a plane, it's also doing global research, online global courses, and internships now. And the Study Abroad programs are both the semester-long academic year and short-term, like we said. The programs that are going to be discussed today by our faculty are all short-term, which means that they either run in a winter break or a summer term, or at least one of them is also embedded, which means that you are taking a course during the fall or the spring semester. And part of that course includes a trip abroad to complete or complement what you've been studying in the classroom. So that's what we do. We also have scholarships. We also provide some advising, but our advising is not normally academic. That would be Megan's role. Our advising is more like, why do you want to go there? What do you need to know about the country, about the logistics, about you, what you need to know in order to establish yourself there for a semester or an academic year. And do you need to get in touch maybe with past students, other faculty, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you.
Thank you, Rocio. And I will say this gets confused very frequently.
Yeah.
We are two different offices. And we work with each other very frequently, but we do have different roles. So it's totally all right if you confuse us for each other. We will make sure that we correct you, but you
right. I should
first.
Say, when you want to apply to a study abroad program, you're going to apply through my office. But the moment I find out that you are a SEBS student, I'm going to say, have you talked to Megan? So we do work well together, but the application process, the acceptance, and getting ready to go would go through my office.
Exactly. So if you have any questions about that, let us know. Obviously, you guys are here to learn about our different study abroad programs. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic to Dr. Hegblum.
Oh, immediately cheese and wine.
Who doesn't want to start with that?
Yeah, which would be nice to actually be in person, because then we could also bring maybe out some cheese and wine.
Yeah.
So I've been leading this course for 10 years now, taking about a dozen to close to 20 students for a 2-week, very focused, intensive study abroad course. So the idea is, how can you do a study abroad course in the sciences when often you can't do it in the semester because that affects all your schedules? So we developed this for a summer program. And the idea here is really to learn about how cheese is made, how wine is made, and also see it in the location and be able to learn how to taste wine, taste cheese, and really intersect the science and the culture. And as the name says, I mean, it's really combining both. My co-instructor, Kathy Healy, is a historian. And so she will go into the history of cheese and wine trade and cultural aspects. And then we go into the nitty-gritty aspects of biochemistry and microbiology. I have students from multiple majors: microbiologist, biochemist, animal science, nutritional science, history major. So you don't even have to be in the sciences to come. I mean, if you're wanting to learn about the microbiology, this is a great place to start.
Great, thank you, Dr. Hegblum. Next, I will pass the mic to Dr. Robson.
So hi, I've been at Rutgers 48 years. And for about 30 years of those 48, I've been working in Thailand doing research and teaching. And about 10 years ago, like Dr. Hegblum, I started running a summer service learning class. It's down to 2 weeks now because we surveyed the students and it was easier for them. This is a group from about 3 years ago. We usually have about anywhere from 13 to 20 students. We cap it at 20. Our program is designed to expose students to rural communities and the healthcare system. Our students during the week go out, they're assigned to a clinic, and they spend some time in the clinic. They go out with the caseworkers into the individual homes and communities, And the afternoon, we learn a little bit about the healthcare system, and we do some cultural exercises, even a small attempt at the Thai language, which is pretty complicated. In the evening, we sort of enjoy Bangkok and just Thailand as a country. It's an extraordinary country to enjoy for eating and just people watching. And the culture is so different, and yet it's a very safe and exciting environment. Our focus is lots of the students that take it are public health students or environmental science students, because those are the two main areas. But we have students from the business school, students from Mason Gross, and all the other places. What we try to do is bring together the science and research that we do as faculty. In fact, you're going to hear Dr. Matthews' presentation in a few minutes, and Dr. Matthews was part of a grant that we had, and he mentored one of the postdocs on my grant. He and the postdoc hit it off so well that Dr. Matthews developed his course that you'll hear about in a few minutes. So we think it's an exciting course. It's a long ride. Yes, it's a long ride, but it's worth every part of it. I usually recommend to the students, and I'm always happy to help them with organizing either the week before they get there, before a class starts, or the week after the class to spend some time in Thailand. Once you get there, it's very reasonable to enjoy it. And we've had a lot of success over the last 10 years, and lots of satisfied students. Every year we learn a little bit better ways to improve the class. Thanks. I hope you'll think about this class.
Thank you, Dr. Robson. Next, Dr. Bouyon.
Let me unmute myself. So thank you. Welcome again. The course is about a summer study abroad course. It's about tea. It's about, those of you like tea or coffee. So you might be interested in how it is, made, where it is made, how it is grown. So we go to a place near border with China. This is from India, the state called Assam. This is the highest producing, the most, producing tea in the world. And it happened to be in the university that I did my bachelor's, called Assam Agricultural University. And so you learn about from the growing of a tree, how it is grown, to processing. You work with the in the factories. You see how you work with the field, and there's specialists. These are faculty as well as staff specialists who teaches you the whole process. So that's the like a half a day. You work for a couple of hours, then you go to the field. And then we embed also cultural programs. So you learn about the Assam is a very diverse culture. So we have more of a Southeast Asian culture than the South Asian culture. So you get to visit different temples, mix with local people, mix with the students, because it happens in the first summer session. Not this summer, by the way, because of the COVID, we did not offer it this year. So you meet with the students and see the local student life. You stay on campus, so you're part of the university community, and basically everything is provided. So the fees that you pay for this course, it is all inclusive. It's like it's a vacation kind of thing, so to speak. So you just pay for your extra thing that you pay is only the airfare. Then I'll be more than happy to if there's any question, I'll be more than happy to answer. And it's a pretty relatively new offering. We just offered last 3-4 years. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bouyon. Next, I have Dr. Matthews.
Ready to go now, I guess. Exactly. We got to remember to unmute. So, welcome. I'm glad all of you folks were able to come and join us here this evening. There's so many opportunities, and I think the food sustainability is just one of those opportunities. We developed this course, and it's a new course. It was only offered for the first time last year, and unfortunately, we've had to cancel it for this year because of the pandemic. But the reason why we developed this course is the interest that we see across all disciplines with relation to food and sustainability. And we also wanted, from that standpoint, to be able to have participation from folks, whether you're in food science or environmental sciences, or you're, as it was brought up before, if you're in history. And so we developed this as a 2-week program to be offered during the winter session. And so we typically leave early January and we're there for about 2 weeks, a little bit more than that. And the one advantage to that is that's really the most beautiful time to be in Thailand. The weather is absolutely perfect, sunny skies every day, and it just gives you an opportunity to be outside. And that's the part of that I really like about this is we do spend a lot of time outside. If you're seeing this slide right now, we go to wet markets, dry markets. We're looking at food safety. We're looking at the various types of foods and how they're produced. We go to processing plants. And, you know, we also go up into the central highlands where they're doing production for organic crops and root crops and things like that. So it's, you know, it's just phenomenal, the ability to see all of these different aspects of food and food sustainability within this environment. And then just also be able to sample the flavors of that country as well. And we, believe me, we do plenty of eating, and you know, that's always good. And if you're I guess if you're a little bit willing to try some exotic foods or really, really spicy foods, then that helps out as well too. So anyhow, I you know, I look forward to any folks from across the university that are willing to join us in this education as well as cultural adventure.
Thank you, Dr. Matthews. I know food is the reason why I do the work I do. So, Dr. Littner.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming out tonight. So our course is Tropical Environments and Society. Ours is a embedded study abroad, which means there's a component course that you take during the semester. We offer it in the spring semester. And then we go abroad for a week in Costa Rica. We offered the class last year for the last spring for the first time. So of course, COVID canceled our plans, but you know, we're looking forward to eventually going to Costa Rica. The idea behind the course, and you know, I should point out that I'm one of 4 instructors for the course. It's very transdisciplinary in nature. The idea is to look at various kinds of challenges, issues facing tropical environments writ large, which is kind of what we focus on during the semester. And then when we go into the field in Costa Rica, it's to look at some of these challenges through that sort of local perspective of what's happening there. The place where we go in Costa Rica, La Selva Biological Research Station, is one of the oldest and most well-known biological ecological research facilities in the world. And the idea when we're in the field is to have you engaged in research. You know, we had several projects that we were going to have students work on while we were there, and then bring the data that we gather in the field back after spring break and spend the rest of the semester kind of developing that into a project. The idea with the embedded study abroad model is that you know, you can take this along with the course, which is an elective in environmental sciences. And you know, by going over spring break, you know, it should hopefully fit nicely with your plans. If you don't want to stay in cold New Jersey, why not come to Costa Rica? So I look forward to answering any questions you have. Thanks.
Thanks, Dr. Littner. So the next program I have on here is not a faculty-led study abroad program, but the last time I hosted an event like this, we had a lot of questions for it. So I wanted to make sure it was represented, and I'll pass it off to the study abroad office.
Thank you. Yes, so this is not a faculty-led program because it's not led by Rutgers faculty. It's what we call a provider program. A provider is a company that creates study abroad opportunities for students from all over, could be all over the United States or all over the world. And they hire external faculty to teach some courses, if either faculty or just experts in the field. With SEBS, they offer 4 different courses. For this summer 2021, they are actually still running because SELA doesn't have, I mean, Belize right now does not have travel restrictions for people coming from the US, and they have COVID more or less under control, as much as, you know, countries can do right now. So they're still open. And we are still accepting applications. Of course, all of this could change, but if any of it changed, then we would let the students know. But as of right now, we are accepting applications, and their deadline is March 15th. So if you're interested in traveling to Belize to study animal science, large animal, veterinary, I actually have the list here. There's 3 courses that are offered. Wildlife, ecology and conservation, or tropical marine ecology and conservation, you could still do that. And the way it works is each course is a little bit over 2 weeks for 3 credits. So you can either take just the 3 credits and be there for 2.5 weeks, or you can sign up for 2 courses, 6 credits, and be there for almost like a total of 5 weeks. On our website, you will find where you can apply for the program, and you'll also find information about how much it costs. For most of the programs, you'll have almost all meals covered, and your housing is included in the price as well. All of that information is included on our webpage for this program. And you can also link and look at the CELA, CELA website, where you can see who teaches the courses, what you need to know, and like what you need to pack, et cetera, et cetera. And when we do know how many students are going, we organize an orientation and with the people from CELA, and they give you even more details about what you need to know to prepare for the program.
Great, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
The final thing that we're highlighting is actually something that our office runs, and it's very aptly named the Brazil Research Exchange. It is exactly what it sounds like. It is an opportunity for students who are in their junior or senior year to apply for an all expenses paid trip to Brazil, where they will spend a week doing a mixture of presenting at an undergraduate research conference, visiting different laboratories at our partner university, the University of Sao Paulo, and participating in different cultural excursions. We always take the students samba dancing. We have taken them to Rio in the past. We have gone to different beaches closer to Sao Paulo. So it's a really exciting opportunity to learn how to start networking and presenting your field within the sciences. So this year we are participating in the program virtually, so it's not quite as exciting as participating in the program in person. But if there are any juniors or seniors on this call, we will be happy to provide the information for you on how to apply. The major requirement is that you must have completed at least 1 year of research so that you have presentable data. We will make sure that links for that are in the chat for students to get that application material. So the really good nitty-gritty stuff, the reason why we're here today is because we wanted to be able to talk to all of the students here about what it is to study abroad and what these different programs offer. So we've decided to have a Q&A session. I'm going to start with some questions, but we really do also want the students to ask questions. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and we will definitely plan to have those answered. You can also always reach us, either my office at the SEBS Global at sebs.rutgers.edu email, or for Rutgers Global Study Abroad, you can do the RU_abroad at global.rutgers.edu, and we'll both be able to answer questions for you. I've also put our social media accounts up here. So again, if you want to follow us on social media, we always announce different information. We announce different events like this there, and try to keep our students informed about all of the different activities that are taking place on campus. So with that said, I am going to go ahead and start us off with the first question I have. And I wanted to ask the faculty and the Study Abroad office, why should students consider studying abroad while they're Rutgers students? What's the benefit to them?
Well, I'm not shy, so I guess I'll go first. Three things, I think. First of all, just to make our students be more comfortable with this, you have an extraordinary resource in Dean Francis and Dr. Yo. So don't hesitate to follow up with them. They really will guide you through the process. But all of us who are the faculty that participate in this really enjoy these activities. We like to show you what we do outside of a normal classroom. You get college credit for this. You get to have a learning experience and still have a lot of fun. You actually get to know some faculty members in a lot closer way. So from my perspective, it's a great way for you to meet faculty. It's a great way for you to get 3 credits. And it's a great way for you to discover something that you might not normally run into under your regular 4 years at Rutgers.
I can
I
add,
would just add on, broaden your horizon, explore the world. Eat foods you haven't tasted before. I think it always comes back to food.
Yes.
And also, I mean, I completely agree. Also, cultural aspects, if you're, a lot of people, don't even travel outside New Jersey, right? So this gives you an opportunity within a very short period of time to go to places that maybe you'll never go again and meet people that we'll never meet again and learn about cultures and many different aspects of life that, enriches yourself. So this is beyond, just education, this is knowledge, right? So I highly encourage, any of these programs are fantastic. So, I strongly encourage students to take advantage of it. Partly we have scholarship, 50%. Megan is going to pay you. Yes.
I wanted to add something. So 3 things come to mind. First, I really like that saying that says, the world is like a book, and if you don't travel, you only read 1 page. I really believe that's true. Another thing is that I talk to a lot of students who say, I'm just too busy now. I'll travel when I finish college. And I want to burst your bubble and say, no, you won't. It becomes a lot harder to travel and have these type of experiences when you have a real full-time job and financial responsibilities, et cetera, et cetera. So your college years are actually the best opportunity for you to travel. And third, if you're somebody who hasn't traveled a lot yet and might be hesitant and don't really feel like it's something that you can take on your own, doing it within a faculty-led program is probably the safest way. You're going to be going to somewhere where the faculty has a lot of experience and contacts. There's going to be an itinerary for you. You're going to be able to discover a lot, but in the safest environment possible. So it's also the easiest sale for your parents.
Yeah, I really have to second that. It's significantly easier. I know it's costly, and like we said, we've got some scholarships for that. It is a lot easier to study abroad while your biggest responsibility is being a student. And we do know that we have students who have more responsibilities than that, but that's also one of the benefits of these short-term programs is they do offer an opportunity for students who maybe they do have other obligations at home that would make a semester more difficult to do. But that actually kind of leads me to my second question, which is there any limit on the number of programs that a student can do?
So I can say, technically, no. It's going to depend really on how much time you have, how well you plan your academics, and how much money or luck you have getting scholarships. But definitely, us from the Rutgers Global Study Abroad, we do not limit you. And in fact, we have many students that study more than once. In fact, my colleague here, Lloyd, he was a Rutgers student and he studied abroad twice. So he can talk about his own experience studying abroad twice. But yeah, we have a lot of students who might actually get their feet wet with a short-term program and say, I actually love that. Now I want to look into a semester-long program. And what we say is perfect. Just plan early, start looking into your academics at least a year before, plan with your academic advisor how you're going to do it. And let's talk about scholarships because we help with that a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Just to echo what Rocio said, in the past, we've had students that have gone abroad for a fall session for a summer session, for a summer program, and then have gone on directly to do a fall semester program. And with a lot of students, their first time having an overseas experience, an international experience, is through our programs. So that's just another thing to think about. You won't be alone if you're a student that hasn't had an international experience yet.
one of my
Let me
students-
borrow a comment that Rocio
Yeah.
said about doing it now. I couldn't agree more. This is a time when you have a lot more flexibility, and I know you're studying and you got a lot going on in your life, but it may be a long stretch. You may have to end up being a faculty member offering it as the instructor. So if you can work this into your schedule and get the support that certainly the SEBS office is able to give you, now's the time to do this. It would just be the ideal time for your life.
I mean, 2 weeks can also open up the world. I have one of my students who came to France for 2 weeks, is now studying for a master's degree in France. And again, those connections were built really just from that quick visit.
I just
No,
also, sorry.
Go ahead, Sanjay.
Thank you. So what I was going to say also, those of you who are not thinking about graduate school. So even if when you go for interview, more and more employers are asking for your experience. And remember, most of the companies are international. They do, work with other people, different cultures, different backgrounds. So having some experience traveling abroad, even for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is, that really makes you kind of, stand out. So this is a great time. This is something you should think about. The students definitely should think about.
What I was going to add is just that I know for some of the students that were in my program, depending upon what your timing is and where you're going to, they were actually able to stop and spend a few days in Japan and then continued on to Thailand. So, you can piggyback these things on, and they just said it was a great experience. Even though they had not traveled before, because there was enough lead time, they were able to get together as a group. So 3 of them did it. And they subsequently were planning other activities that they could do future trips because they were so inspired by it.
Yeah, I would echo something that Max said, in terms of our thinking with the Costa Rica program, is that, by taking you to La Selva, this biological research station, it's conceivable, and we hope that maybe someday some of you might end up going back there, maybe to do your own research, or maybe as an ecotourist. But that it's something that can build bridges to the future.
Great, thank you. And, you guys have all kind of touched on this a little bit already, but could you maybe go into a little bit more detail about the value of these programs as a science student, and also just gaining the experience? A lot of the science students tell me they can't go abroad because they have an internship that they have to do, or their curriculum is too rigid. How are your experiences different?
So this is the application of the science that you've learned. So all of us, I guess I'm the oldest one on the call, but all of us have been doing this for a while, me the longest. And I always remind students that it's great to study. Like, I teach a class in global health, and I have 90 kids each semester that take the global health class. But we actually do global health for these 2 weeks. You just don't read about accessibility to healthcare and the fact that people have to travel on a motorbike for 3 hours to get to a clinic. You get to see that. You get to see the fact that people don't have clean water and proper nutrition. It's an application of what you've learned. It gives you a real experience. And also, as was pointed out by Sanjay, the other thing is that employers want to know how worldly you are. It's a very competitive market for you when you go into the job place. You can distinguish yourself by saying, I went to Japan, or I went to France, or any of the places that we're suggesting. And it just shows that you have more maturity and more experience. So I think it's the application of the science, the fact that you have a little more maturity. And finally, it may be, as Max, I think, pointed out, it may be a place where you decide to pursue your graduate work. So it really does give you a path.
I mean, for me, I'm working a lot about food fermentations. And most of that is horrific details of biochemistry pathways here that basically come to life when you're tasting a stinky cheese, savoring a wonderful wine, so on. I mean, the aspect of what's happening really becomes living when you're right there. And to me, that goes for any program. I mean, the science, when you're in the field, really becomes alive.
Can I add something? This is a question that comes up for every major, and I just want to do a shameless plug to our podcast and YouTube channel, because we have testimonials from students talking about how study abroad impacted their career and help them with a successful career. So I'm going to ask Lloyd to drop the links to that in the chat so people can check them out.
That's awesome. I didn't know you had a podcast. I knew the YouTube channel, but a podcast, that's up there.
I will do. I'm dropping them in the chat now for you guys. Just one
Great.
second.
But speaking of value, one of the questions that I always get is, how is this going to count? A lot of the programs are faculty led are elective credit. So could you all maybe give us a little bit of information about what this actually looks like on a transcript?
I can just tell you for food science, for instance, we allow our students to utilize the course, those credits towards their EBE, so experience-based education. And indeed, I think it really does fulfill that because of what they're doing and how they're engaging in it. So that's one way that we're utilizing it.
So by the cheese and wine is a 400 level microbiology course. So it basically fulfills the electives within the major. And it actually is also fulfills elective courses in other majors as well. So it can be used to one of the core microbiology courses that you need to get a microbiology degree, also biotechnology. And I think food science also approves of it in as one of the core electives. But I think more broadly, I mean, once you graduate, it's not what's on your transcript, is what is the experience you have? What can you do with that knowledge? And that's not going to be a course credit. It's actually how you use this long term.
You know, I've even just had students that when they're doing for job interviews, not necessarily for my course, but they've been on Max's course and so forth. And they've used that as, you know, asking to tell us about yourself. What have you done? And that's what they'll share. They've told me they've shared their experience when they were on the wine and cheese course and so forth. So it's something they're comfortable with and they know, but it's also exciting to be able to share that with somebody. And it's a perfect way to, you know, talk about yourself when you're in these interviews.
That's a really good point. I've personally worked with students on coaching them on how to talk about study abroad in job interviews, and we've done kind of mock interviews. So that's something that we can also do with any student who really wants that extra coaching or that extra practice, because it can be difficult to, you know, drop this information in there. So we're happy to go over those types of techniques with you as well. I did want to ask a little bit also, some of you
Megan, sorry. So I was just wondering, are you asking the students to questions or?
We will, yeah. So I did want to, I have a couple more questions, and students, if you have questions that you want to ask, please feel free to start dropping them in the chat. And we'll definitely get to those. And feel free to interrupt me at any point if you have burning questions that you want answered. Some of the faculty have already talked about this. Do you all accept students who are not in your disciplines on your classes? And can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, I would say for our course, you know, we have 4 instructors from different programs, and we sort of intentionally designed it to be transdisciplinary with the hope that we would have not only a cross section of students from SEBS, but from other parts of Rutgers. So in a sense, that's built into the DNA of how we develop the course.
The same in mine. We have, I think one year we had kids from 7 different schools. Majority are either SEBS or SAS because they're the 2 big units that are interested in such things. But we've had students from business, Mason, Gross, engineering, you know, it really does add to the mix. I think the variety of backgrounds that the students bring really make the class exciting. So we welcome and encourage students from all of our 16 undergraduate units.
Yes, same here. So there's no restriction. So we have SAS and SEBS, food science, plant science, nutrition, EBE, economics, anything. So there's no restriction. So
cheese and wine is open even if you're lactose intolerant or basically unable to drink alcohol. So no restrictions there either. The same with no science background needed.
I'll just say the same thing. We don't have restrictions. You know, the last go around, we had marine science, environmental, nutrition, across the board.
Great, thank you. And I might be cheating a little bit because I'm an advisor, so I sometimes know the answers to these questions. But I've heard a rumor that you can continue your research that you might start on one of these programs, especially the La Selva Costa Rica program. So is there an opportunity that students could maybe become interested in a specific topic while on the study abroad program and continue doing that research once they get back?
Not just Costa Rica, but more importantly, Thailand. In fact, one of our nursing students,
same here.
We hooked her up with one of my postdocs in Thailand, and they even have a journal paper out. So when she got ready for graduate school, kind of going back to Dr. Hagblum's comment about graduate school, my summer student participated in the research. She stayed a little bit longer, and then she worked on the data back here, and her name is on one of the papers. And that was very helpful to her in her graduate school application. So I actually make that part of my orientation and encourage the students to do that because it really does build a pathway.
Yeah, I mean, for the Costa Rica course, again, the sort of model was set up to have us going to Costa Rica in the middle of the semester and then come back and, you know, essentially do a little bit of research based on what we do in the field. But, you know, I think the hope is that someone finds passion, you know, a passionate project in Costa Rica and wants to continue that, you know, beyond, well beyond what we offer.
Great. So I have one final question, and this is something that my office deals with, the study abroad office deals with, and it's always a burning question for students. How much does it cost and how do I pay for it? So I mentioned earlier that our office has a scholarship that helps offset these costs. And obviously this year is a little bit different. We are sending applications out directly to students who have already applied for a study abroad program. In a traditional year though, we set up the application early, and students, we award about 50% to 60% of the application. So it's a really high awardal rate. And again, it's about 50% of the overall tuition cost. So while we start getting questions in the chat, I just wanted to let the study abroad office also talk about their scholarships.
Okay, so I mentioned this before. When you go to our website, there we have a dedicated webpage per program, and part of the information that's listed there is the financial cost, both what goes on your term bill and what is out of pocket, because you need to prepare for both, right? And then we also have another section that tells you what scholarships are applicable to that particular program. We encourage students to apply to every single scholarship. And I have to say a few things really quickly. If you go on a semester program and you normally receive financial aid, you can still continue to receive the financial aid, and it applies towards the cost of your study abroad program. If you study abroad in the summer, you have to be registered for at least 6 credits in order to qualify for summer financial aid, and that can be achieved through study abroad or maybe a combination of a study abroad program plus another course. In the winter, there aren't that many financial aid options, but we still have scholarships and SEBS as well, right? And what else? I was going to say really quickly. Oh, yes. So there's no limit on scholarships. We have a list of the scholarships that we manage or that are Rutgers based, but we also have a directory of outside scholarships, and there's so many. You have to go through all of them and just apply to anything that applies to you, because a lot of them are maybe based on the country where you're going to go study, if you're going to study in a certain language, who you are, their identity base. So there's groups that support their community studying abroad, et cetera, et cetera. And you can put one on top of the other. So even if you receive the Megan scholarship, you can still apply to ours and just add it. And like I said, when you're looking at the cost, it's going to vary based on the location of the program, the duration, how much is included. You might think, oh, this program is pricier than the other one, but hold on, they include all my housing options, hotels, and all the meals. So then when you actually do the math, it works out, right? And then on the other side of the list of cost, and we're talking about non-billable, that means those are the costs that you have to prepare for yourself, which are going to be your flight, if you don't have a passport yet, if you are going on a semester program and you need a student visa, and maybe some money for like your expenses abroad, personal expenses. And so we estimate how much that should cost a regular student with a normal lifestyle in that country. And all of that to help you. If you get so many scholarships that you actually are owed a refund, then you get cash to take with you on your program. So that's also good. We do have sessions every week or every other week. We actually have them listed on our website. We have a Study Abroad 101 that explains how to choose your program, how to do the academics work, et cetera, et cetera. And right after that, there's a how to pay for financial aid. I'm sorry, how to pay for study abroad. And we explain the financial aid. We have a financial aid expert in our office. She's the billing and enrollment coordinator. She herself was also a Rutgers EOF student that studied abroad twice, once as an undergrad, another one as a grad. So she has a lot of information for students to share.
And we'll actually be hosting an event with her next week to talk about financing study abroad.
And I see that Lloyd is quick with the links in the chat, so you already have that information there.
Yeah, guys, I just dropped the link to our scholarship page and then the link to our finance page. It's slightly different. It's more in depth about financial planning, and the scholarship page is where you can find the scholarship directories that Rocio mentioned, as well as it's a great place to start just researching scholarships and just pointing you in the right direction of where else to look.
Yep.
And I want to lure you so badly to mine that I actually give Megan $1,000 every year to give to somebody. I don't get to pick who it is, but I incentivize at least one of you by $1,000 to come join us in Thailand.
And Sarah, to answer your question in the chat, Sarah asked, as an EPIB major, she remembers reading that they have to justify that the study abroad experience is either science or has scientific research. That is a requirement for the SEBS scholarship, not for other scholarships. And it isn't that you have to justify science or scientific research, it's that you have to be able to relate the program to your major. What that basically means is that our scholarship is not for students who are interested in studying art history in Paris, or who are interested in learning Spanish, or anything that is not directly tied to our disciplines. Instead, we're encouraging students to participate in programs that are going to augment the education that they're receiving within their SEBS disciplines. Does that kind of help answer your question?
Megan, if I may add, so for the students to help out, all you need to do is to contact the faculty, and we'll be more than happy to kind of help with the justification. So it is not a big deal. So.
Mm-hmm. Are there any other questions from our students?
While those come in, I wanted to say not some final words, but I did want to get a message across. I wanted SEBS students to know that they're actually very fortunate to be SEBS students if they're interested in studying abroad. Like I said before, I'm the program manager for all the faculty-led programs, all the short-term programs across the university. And so I work with all different departments. And I have to say that SEBS students are lucky because, first one, they have the most faculty-led programs to choose from. The fact that there are 5 faculty here represented with their own programs that are diverse and interesting, all of them, you don't have that in any other department. I can tell you that already. We're like, we have one per department. 2, you have a dedicated office, which is Megan's office, that helps you with the academic advising. Again, students in other departments struggle finding an academic advisor that knows what they're talking about when they want to study abroad. And 3, it's also the most generous one when it comes to the scholarships. No other department of Rutgers has a department that can actually just give out scholarships for their own programs. That's huge. We wish that there was an office like that in every single department. So SEBS students take advantage of the opportunity while you're here and while you can, because no other student at Rutgers has it.
All right, well, as students are thinking about any questions that they might have, we also have a raffle for all of the students who were participating today. I'm going to pass the mic to Dr. Yo, who is Dr. Yo for Hyunjin, who is going to go ahead and see who won a little bit of swag today.
Okay, so today we are going to have one lucky winner. We have 11 students total who are eligible for this raffle, and that's a pretty good chance of winning, right? So without a further ado, I will get started.
This is very exciting. I've never seen this thing.
Alyssa, congratulations.
Yay.
Yay. So I'll reach out to you tomorrow so that we can send you some Rutgers items.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to our wonderful faculty members who were able to join us today for the Study Abroad office, who took out some time from their evenings. And most importantly, thank you to the students who sat through our presentation. You can always reach out to get more information. I'm going to just share that screen again. So if you have any questions that you didn't get answered tonight, please feel free to reach out to us. And we look forward to seeing or hearing from you in the future. Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
Right.
Thanks so much, guys. Take care.
Thank you.